Okay, everybody ready to start? Because I'm never late and I'm always right on time. So it's 7 o'clock, and we are going to start maybe for the first time as mayor on time. But I'd like to call the regular school committee meeting to order, today being August 28th, 2018. The meeting tonight is being recorded by the PBD School Committee's recording secretary, Leanna Harris, and we are being broadcast live on PAT. The matters listed on our agenda are those reasonably anticipated by the chair, which may be discussed at the meeting. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by law. I'd like to first start off with a call to order, and if we could all please stand for a moment of silence. Thank you. And now I'm going to turn it over to our superintendent, Karen Murtagh, who has an introduction of a remarkable young man here in the city of Peabody. And I'm going to turn it over to you, Ms. Murtagh.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Tonight I have the pleasure of introducing Neil Sherman, a senior at Peabody Veterans Memorial High School. Neil is an exceptionally active member of the Performing Arts Department. Neil plays the trombone in both concert band and jazz band. He was in Allie Hakem in the Stage 1 Drummer Club's recent production of Oklahoma, and he's a frequent contributor to the acoustic coffee shows. Neil has performed at a host of North Shore venues, including our new Black Box Theater. He has sung the Star Spangled Banner for a number of sporting events over the past several years, and is pleased to be on hand to sing the national anthem for us this evening at the school committee meeting. Neil, come join us, please.
We're going to do a duet.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You can take it right off if you'd like.
Oh, even better. It's like easier.
Okay.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we'd watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you, Neil. That was wonderful. Thank you very, very much. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
That was terrific. Thank you again, Neil. Okay, now we'll go to the approval of minutes, the July 17, 2018 regular school committee meeting minutes.
Motion to approve regular school committee meeting minutes dated July 17th, 2018.
Second?
You've heard the motion for approval of said minutes by Mrs. Carpenter, seconded by Mr. Olympio. Roll call vote, please.
Yes.
Mr. Olympio?
Yes.
Mrs. Carpenter?
Yes.
Mr. Arnott?
Yes.
Mrs. Dunn?
Yes.
Thank you. Our next item will be approval of bills. Mrs. Carpenter, we're ready for you.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to approve warrant A, number 3910, dated August 28th, 2018, in the amount of $27,043.43, subject to audit.
Second?
Thank you. You've heard the motion for approval of warrant A by Mrs. Carpenter, seconded by Mr. Olympio. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Amico?
Yes.
Mr. Olympia?
Yes.
Mrs. Carpenter?
Yes.
Mr. Arnott?
Yes.
Mrs. Dunn?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve warrant B, number 3911, dated August 28th, 2018, the amount of $3,558.97, subject to audit.
Second?
Thank you. You've heard the motion for approval of warrant B by Mrs. Carpenter, seconded by Mr. Olympio. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Amico?
Yes.
Mr. Olympia?
Yes.
Mrs. Carpenter?
Yes.
Mr. Arnott?
Yes.
Mrs. Dunn?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve warrant C, number 3917, dated August 28th, 2018, in the amount of $32,567.21, subject to audit.
Second?
Thank you. You've heard the motion for approval of warrant C, number 3917. Motion was made by Mrs. Carpenter, seconded by Mr. Olympio. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Amico?
Yes.
Mr. Olympia?
Yes.
Mrs. Carpenter?
Yes.
Mr. Arnott?
Yes.
Mrs. Dunn?
Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve warrant D, 3920, dated August 28th, 2018, the amount of $67,643.48, subject to audit.
Second?
Further motion by Mrs. Carpenter to approve warrant D, number 3920, seconded by Mr. Olympio. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Amico?
Yes.
Mr. Olympia?
Yes.
Mrs. Carpenter?
Yes.
Mr. Arnott?
Yes.
Mrs. Dunn?
Yes.
And finally, we had a lot of bills this summer. I'd like to make a motion to approve warrant E, number 3921, dated August 28th, 2018, in the amount of $146,169.85, subject to audit.
Second?
Further motion by Mrs. Carpenter for approval of warrant E, number 3921, seconded by Mr. Olympio. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Amico?
Yes.
Mr. Olympia?
Yes.
Mrs. Carpenter?
Yes.
Mr. Arnott?
Yes.
Mrs. Dunn?
Yes.
Thank you. We'll go to continued business. Item number 1, the Mass School Building Authority Higgins Middle School project. Mrs. Dunn, anything to report?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Actually, I have 2 items to discuss. We had our regular scheduled meeting August 16th here at the Higgins at 4 p.m. And at that meeting, we discussed the continuing closeout process for the project. We went over a list of items that are either being worked on, being looked at, checking to see whose responsibility it is to take care of those items. One of the ongoing discussions has been about the landscaping. And so what we ended up doing was the following week on the 23rd, I had an on-site meeting with many of the people who are involved in taking care of the landscaping. And we worked on a, hopefully it is the beginning of a written plan, a landscape management plan. But the gist of that for everyone to know is that the areas of responsibility being taken care of between Parks, Recreation, and Forestry, between the Higgins custodians and the maintenance department. And that's all being taken care of. And prior to the opening of school, the drainage area in the front of the building is going to be taken care of. A lot of people don't realize that it's a natural area, that it's planted the way it is because it's a drainage project. It's part of flood mitigation for the city. And indigenous plants were put in there, and what's happened is we're trying to adjust our mowing time and how to care for that area. It was designed to be low maintenance, and we have recommendations from the landscape architect. We're trying to follow through with those, but also to adjust so that it looks presentable for people when they come to the school. This is a beautiful building, and we want the whole site to look as nice as possible. So we have a plan in place for the opening of school, and then we're going to continue working on that to make sure that we finally hit it right. And there are so many variables. It depends upon the weather. It depends upon the different growing seasons for the different plants that are there. And we're honestly in a learning process on how to deal with it. But it is being taken care of, and it is discussed at every meeting. So the next meeting will be, again, this September, the third Thursday of the month at 4 p.m. here at Higgins, and we'll probably have more updates for you at that point.
Great. Thank you, Mrs. Dunn.
You're welcome.
Terrific. The next item is school start time surveys. Mr. Hockman, I know information is being compiled now. Let's hold that on the agenda for the next meeting. Public participation. I'd like to invite anyone to come forward now and speak, and I know we have a guest today.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think this is on. My name is Christine Mcgrath. I am the Director of Operations for the Massachusetts Association of School Superintendents, just starting my 9th year. Prior to that, I was superintendent in the Tewksbury Public Schools for 19 years. I have the privilege of being here this evening because I am the coach in the new superintendent's induction program for your superintendent. We are in the 9th year of this program. It is funded in part by your district and by a grant that we have through the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. In cohort 9, we have 41 new superintendents. This is a record number. It is, we believe, a highly successful program. It is certainly a program that I wished I had had, not only in my first year, but also in my 19th year as superintendent. The goal of the program is to develop the leadership capacity of the superintendent, is to support the superintendent in working with her leadership team, to build strong, positive working relationships with everybody in the Peabody Public Schools, including the school committee, the faculty, the staff, the administration, custodians, everybody, secretarial personnel, bus drivers, and on the city side, obviously, the nurses and the people who help maintain your facilities. To that end, I will meet with Kara 6 hours every month. We will meet one-on-one. I have already attended one of the leadership team meetings, and we were talking, Steve, Tom, and I were talking before your meeting. Very impressive leadership team. Very well-developed sense of humor and tremendous dedication to the children in your school system. I mentioned to Kara when I was coming in and to John, I've told everybody that will listen about your backpack program and your goal, your desire to accelerate that program from 200 backpacks to 300 backpacks. So this is a special place. You have a great leader, and she has a great team. So we will work on relationship building with all members of the Peabody Public School community. We will conduct school visits, and periodically I will attend school committee meetings because the partnership between the superintendent and the school committee is critical to the success of any school district. Kara will be compiling an entry plan because even though she has been the assistant superintendent, she's in a new and a very demanding role as your superintendent. Joe and I talked at the start of the meeting. I had the privilege of coaching Diane Kelly in Revere, and you know, I'm a Gloucester resident. I'm a city-type superintendent, and I just really look forward to working with Kara, to working with you, and to working with her team. Happy to answer any questions about the program. In addition to the 6 hours that we will spend together, Kara will participate in 8 full-day content trainings. We have a very structured curriculum, and we've already concluded 2 of those 8 sessions that took place over the summer. So happy to answer, that's my elevator speech, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have about the program.
Great. Well, just listening to you speak, I think I'd like you to be my mentor, too. Please. That was wonderful. Thank you for...
Well, you know,
Yeah.
they don't leave much to chance in this program, and they coach the coaches on the elevator speech.
Okay.
So that we're succinct and that we don't take too much of your time.
No, that was wonderful. Thank you. Do any questions from the committee members? Mrs. Dunn?
There's one, Dr. Mcgrath, and I don't mean to put you on the spot. There was a statistic that was given out at a presentation I saw about the new superintendent induction program, and it talked about the success that that program has made for the school districts that have participated in it. And I don't know if you might know the number. It was a very impressive number, and I'm sorry, I can't remember it.
Well, we're in, as I said, Mrs. Dunn, we're in year 9, and I would say this is a bumper crop, so to speak, with the 41, but I would say we've had, on average, 30. So we've had approximately 270 people enrolled in the program. And, you know, the fatality rate of superintendents, I don't mean, I mean that in a supportive way, is pretty, can be pretty daunting. And I would say we have a better success rate with the people who have participated in the program. Because we try as coaches, we don't give the answers, but to help by being a thought partner for the superintendent. You know, is there a different way you could handle, you know, X, Y, Z? But, yeah, we have a good success rate. I can't give you a percentage per se.
And I think it was on longevity, on making sure that the superintendents were very skilled and very deep. The depth of the superintendency has been greatly strengthened by this program.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. We feel it has.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Great. Great. Coach McGrath, thank you for being here. This is terrific. Thank you.
Thank you so
See you
much.
Thursday.
I'll see you Thursday. Thank you so much.
That was terrific. Thank you. Now we'll go to the superintendent's report, and let's see how the coaching is paying off. Ms. Murtagh, we'll turn over to you.
No pressure. No pressure. Okay, with the approval of the school committee, I have some very generous donations. First, at the Thomas Carroll School, they did a raised garden bed project with multiple donators, and that is in our packet. So I'd like to do line by line and go through each donation. So the Thomas Carroll School raised garden bed project.
Motion.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Dunn, I'll turn it to you.
I know everybody's trying to think, how do we receive it? Motion to receive and to, with gratitude, and to submit a thank you note to all involved in that project.
Great.
Second.
Heard the motion by Mrs. Dunn, seconded by Mr. Amico. All in favor? That's a vote.
The second donation is from Polly Southwick and Ann Flynn and all of the committee members of the class of 1950, a donation to the PBD Veterans Memorial High School for the Democracy in Action course. A donation of $1,243.
Motion to receive with gratitude. And I'd just like to note that's my mother's class, so it gives me great pleasure to be able to accept that.
Okay. Heard the motion for approval by Mrs. Dunn, seconded by Mr. Amico. All in favor? That's a vote.
The next donation is from New York Life through Mr. Collins, who is a parent in our community, for $500 to PBD Veterans Memorial High School.
Motion to accept and receive with gratitude.
For the motion to accept the donation by Mrs. Dunn, seconded by Mr. Arnottis. All in favor? It's a vote.
The next donation is from the J.B. Thomas Leahy Foundation for 5 portable AEDs to the PBD Veterans Memorial High School athletic fields for $6,165.
Motion to receive and accept with gratitude.
Second.
Great.
And
Thank you. You've heard the motion from Mrs. Dunn, seconded by Mr. Arnottis. On the motion, Mrs. Dunn?
just a question, are these equipment that would be carried by coaches to the game, or will they be permanently affixed outside at the fields?
They're portable, so they can go to any one of the fields.
Very good.
Yes.
Thank you. Mrs. Murtagh?
I have the pleasure to introduce Janie Wilson. Janie Wilson was an 8th grade student here, but she is now going to PBD Veterans Memorial High School. I'm going to invite her up to explain the project that she did this past spring to all 5th grade students in our district. Welcome, Janie.
Hi, welcome. Hi, everyone. It's nice to see you all again and some new faces. So I'm here to say what I did from April to June. So from April to June, I talked to 8 schools, 24 classroom, and 500 fifth grade students about the power of having kids in the kitchen. And I talked to them about 3 main points. One being the importance of grocery shopping, meal planning, and ways they can be in the kitchen. So I started off my class, a 30-minute class with the health teacher, by introducing myself and then talking about all my accomplishments that I have done since winning the Ben's Beginners Contest back in 2014. And then I started off my main topic about the power of having kids in the kitchen. So I really want to give a huge thank you to Kara and Dennis for allowing me to do this and talk and spread the message of having kids in the kitchen through all the 5th graders in Peabody, because 5th grade was the year that I won the Uncle Ben's contest, and if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be in the place that I am now and done all the amazing things that I did. And I got to get a lot of help from Uncle Ben's, Chop Chop Magazine, and Concord Foods. So Uncle Ben's gave me 500 magazines to get, and 500 bags of rice to give to all the kids. And they gave me some oven mitts, some aprons, and measuring cups to give out as prizes. And Chop Chop Magazine gave me 500 magazines to give to all the kids. And then Concord Foods gave me a bunch of smoothie mixes that I can give out as prizes. And with all my prizes, after I gave my whole speech and taught them what I wanted to, we played a fun game to see if they were actually listening to me. And if they got the questions right, I gave them a different prize. And I asked 5 questions, and then the big one was, what were the 3 main things that I talked to you about? And if you got the big prize, you either got to pick from an apron, a measuring cup, or a glove. And then the 5 questions, you got a smoothie mix. And my first question that I asked was how old I am. And it was so funny to listen to all the kids' answers, because one kid thought I was 24. And then one kid thought my mom was a kid in my class that just came with me.
Must have
So
liked that,
it was
yeah.
fun to see what the kids actually really thought of me. And it was a great way to really interact and talk to kids, and hopefully they got my message across to them. And I'll never forget this one student that I got to talk to, and you would have thought that I was Beyonce. She was so happy to see me. She was speechless. She asked to take a picture with me. It was the most amazing thing to ever live through, because I didn't know I could have that big of an impact on someone. So it was a great time and a great learning experience, and I really hope I could do it again. Thank
Great.
you.
Janie, thank you so much for explaining what you did and what you did for all our students this past year. And you are a role model for us here in the district, and you have a lot of talent, so thank you.
Thank you.
Let me just add to that, because I've gotten to know Janie and her family over the years, and we actually had a couple years back in 5th grade when Janie won that Uncle Ben's contest, that it was Janie Wilson Day in the city of Peabody, which was terrific. And but I just wanted to say that she's one of the most well-rounded, accomplished, talented young students that you'll ever meet. And not only that, but she's a very kind, generous person. So I want to congratulate you, and I can't wait to see what your future holds for you. Very proud, very proud.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you very
Janie.
much.
Wow, I don't want to continue. That was awesome. I want to end right there.
Yeah, that's.
So, thank you very much. So in our packet, in our school committee packet, we have the Center School Playground Grant, the CPC grant. I just wanted, for notification, it is in here. The Center School principal and the PTO has applied for a CPC grant. That's in your packet this evening. Faith Christian Academy letter of support. We discussed that at last school committee meeting, and that is also in your packet. I will turn this over if you have any questions for Mr. LaFleur for the monthly expenditure summary. That's in our packet as well. I don't know if you have any questions for Mr. LaFleur. Okay, thank you. Dr. Mcgrath nicely spoke about the superintendent induction program, and the information is in here, the coursework that I'm going through, and it is a wonderful program, and I have learned so much so far, so thank you very much for your support. The 2018-2019 August professional development information is in your packet, and today was our first day of professional development with our teachers. And today what we talked about, what we learned about in the elementary level, it was science FOSS, and they had an all-day training in FOSS, and tomorrow they will have safety training, training in special education, and also they'll have grade level team meetings. At the middle school level, today they worked on blended and personalized learning, as well as safety training. Tomorrow they have the Aspen, the new student management system training. The high school today had safety training as well as NEASC training. They're working on curriculum mapping, and the different standards that NEASC is holding us accountable for. Tomorrow they have Aspen training on student management system, the new student management system. So it's going very, very well. And last week we had professional development for all of our administrators, as well as the induction and mentor program for all of our new teachers. Inside your packet, you also have hopefully the final 2018-2019 calendar, and that has been posted on our school website as well. So in 8 days, we are starting our 2018-2019 school year. So I'm going to take this opportunity to thank my amazing central office team. I can't do what I do each day if I didn't have the support of Chris, Tom, Steve, Joanne, Maji, and all of the people at central office, as well as all of your support. I want to thank the building principals for all their hard work getting their schools ready and prepared for our students to come in next week. I just want to let the public know that all class placement letters have been mailed out, so check your mailboxes, as well as all of the bus passes so far have been mailed out. And I'm just asking for the safety and well-being of our students that if your student is taking a bus, make sure you check the bus routes and times and locations of the bus routes. They're posted on our website as well as in the local newspaper. And if you are driving your child to school, again, for the safety and well-being of our students, please follow the traffic patterns at each school. So I think we are ready to go.
Great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Mertag. Very well done. A lot of information there.
I'm sorry, I forgot to thank our custodians and maintenance staff who have worked tirelessly to get our schools ready. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you. We do have written communications. We have two communications. First one is from the Pioneer Charter School of Science, their annual report. And the second item is the letter from the Simon Youth Foundation. We will receive those letters. Any questions or comments, Mrs. Dunn?
One question, do we know how many PBD students attend the Pioneer Charter?
As of right now, 0.
Okay. All right, we'll now go to subcommittee reports. Actually, we'll have a motion by Mr. Olympio, seconded by Mr. Amico, to receive both those communications. And now we will go to subcommittee reports. Education subcommittee, we will hold on to Mr. Hockman's report. Second, finance, Mrs. Carpenter.
Thank you. We have a little bit of budget business to take care of. And back in June 19th, we, Councilor Gravel made a motion to increase our salary line and send over $425,000. We need to address that $425,000 as it needs to be put into our salary line. It is the understanding of myself and the Finance Committee that we had used that money to restore our professional development days. So that $425,000 needs to have a proper motion to be put into salary. So I'd like to make a motion to move the $425,000 into our salary line.
Second.
Thank you, Mrs. Carpenter. Motion was made, seconded by Mr. Olympio. Roll call vote.
Mr. Amico?
Yes.
Mr. Olympio?
Yes.
Mrs. Carpenter?
Yes.
Mr. Hernandez?
Yes.
Mrs. Dunn?
Yes.
Thank you. Next committee, school safety. Mr. Olympio.
Yeah, nothing new to report, but I'll be scheduling something very soon.
Thank you. Athletics and wellness.
Nothing to report.
Thank you, Mrs. Carpenter. Quality and Standards, Mrs. Dunn?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Quality and Standards Subcommittee met this evening. One of the goals of the meeting was to come forward with some policies to be advanced for the school district. We're working from the policy newsletter from MASC from July. So what we did was we went through the policies. Some of them are really ready to come before the committee, and we will move them forward for a first reading at the next school committee meeting. Some of the other policies need some work, and if you could bear with me, I'm just going to run through them and let you know what we decided. The first policy that we will be moving forward is educational opportunities for military children, and that's filed JFABE. That will come before you next meeting for first reading. The next is, the next is filed JFABF, and that is for foster children, educational opportunities for foster children. Children in foster care, and we wanted to move that forward with no changes, so that will come up next meeting for first reading. Then we decided with policy JJF, this we will bring forward first reading, but we have made some adjustments to this. This concerns student activity accounts, and the language that we have included is to make sure that with high school senior classes, that when the money is turned over to a senior class, that the class has already put into place an EIN number for proper receipt of that funding. So we'll make those adjustments and bring that forward next meeting for first reading. The policy on meal charging, which is EFD, we do have a policy already. We had worked on that. And the subcommittee decided to confer with Ms. Murtagh as well as with Mrs. Rose, because we feel that that's important. There were some items in the recommended policy from MASC which are at odds with what we have as far as who would oversee the program in each school if someone were delinquent on their account. So we'd like to make sure that we do it the right way with the food service department before we implemented that. So that's going to be on hold. And then the, let me see, hold on one second. All of the language dealing with the Pregnant Workers Fairness Act, we know this affects a lot of policies, it affects a lot of documents in the school district. So we're going to go through those policies, make sure we update ours, but also we know we'll just submit this to Ms. Murtagh and her administrative team just to make sure that any of the documents we have in the school system conform with the language and some of the provisions of that act. Okay? So you will be receiving new policies and some adjusted policies at the next meeting.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Dunn. Anything to report on the City Council or advisory boards?
Yes, actually, I've received a request from the City Council to have a joint meeting of the two liaison groups, ours and the City Council. The Student Advisory Board, I will be bringing forward some documentation from MASC. There was a really excellent training that some of our students attended last spring, and it's all to strengthen the student advisory boards and to let them understand what their actual role is. So our liaison subcommittee will be spending a lot more time with the student advisory board and helping them to grow. This is how you grow leaders. The parent advisory board, we're just waiting for a list of PTO officers and the parent advisory board members. And what we're going to do is just schedule our regular meeting, which is normally the third Monday of the month. And then at that meeting, we'll find out if that's still convenient to everyone. It may be adjusted, but right now we're going to go with the third Monday of the month. We kind of work around the PTO meetings, so hopefully that'll still work.
Great, thank you, Mrs. Dunn. Building and Grounds, Mr. Amico?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. At this time, we don't have anything to report, but we will be scheduling a meeting in the near future.
Great, thank you. Special Education Parent Advisory Board, Mr. Olympio.
Nothing new to report, but I would anticipate a meeting sometime late in September, and I'd like to invite Ms. Gruby and Ms. Murtagh to the first meeting.
Great. Thank you. And I did want to mention that we do have our Assistant Superintendent, Dr. Christopher Lord, here, as well as our School Business Manager, Tom LaFleur, and our Personnel Director, Stephen Farrell. Next school committee meeting will be September 11th. The new business will be handled the regular course regarding new items. And a move to adjourn. Okay. Thank you, everyone.